What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. If you're wondering what this melodious harmonics hitting your ear is, it's a song out of the 1990s. It's called Natural One. It's by Folk Implosion. It's great. If you didn't get a chance to grow up in the 90s, that's okay. You can still listen to the stuff because it's on YouTube. Yeah, they made YouTube after the 90s. If you're like me, you started listening to music in the 90s. Yeah, I was alive in the 80s, but my mom didn't play any music the entire decade because my dad had to work. And he couldn't have a bunch of sound in the background because he had to sleep during the day and go to work second shift. So, sucked because I didn't get a whole bunch of introduction to music until the 90s. But luckily for me, 90s was one of the greatest musical decades of all time. 80s are great too. Sorry for those that had to grow up and listen to the 2000s. But, you know, hey, Creed was in the 2000s, so there you go. Hey, welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully you guys are doing excellent, taking care of yourselves. One piece of information that is crucial to listening to Lockdown Universe and podcasts in general is that there's the potential to get shadow banned. What is shadow banning exactly? That's when a company decides to basically unpromote or depromote your music or your podcasts or your videos or whatever, or they don't even publish them. So that's what's happened with me. So if you've noticed, I haven't posted anything since the 29th. However, I have posted since the 29th. The problem is that it's gone, disappeared. It was important, valuable information for you guys to hear. Could it have been the government? Could it have been Spotify? Could it have been somebody else? I don't know. But what I would say is that it's crucial to be checking your podcast libraries. You know, the ones that you listen to constantly. If you listen on Spotify, you have like this homepage where they have like your most recent 6 listened to podcasts up there. If I'm not up there, you know, type in Lockdown Universe, check out the site, Spotify link on there because there might be something in there and it just might not be posting it to your new podcast site. And then if it's not posting, guess what? Sometimes they're taking it down. Apparently, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. Something's goofy's going on. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there for you. I'm going to put this one out today, hopefully by tonight, and you guys will have this. So. What are we talking about today? We're talking about an amazing story where one individual states that he or she is a hybrid reptilian and has been in communication with the hybrid reptilians for some time. Fascinating stuff. There have been very few stories where people believe they are hybrids. However, we have heard of people that believe they are. It's been pretty rare, though. So I'm going to pull this up here and let's read it on out and see what they have to say. So this article states that I have been in touch with terrestrial aliens since I was a child. Terrestrial aliens. Well, you know, we call that, we don't call it aliens, we call it just other creatures, really, right? So what this individual states was, it was weird lights and apparitions when I was younger, and then around the age of 18, I started turning into physical abductions. No, it started turning into physical abductions at night and randomly seeing crafts periodically. This carried on all through my life until the age of 32. At the age of 32, I don't know why I keep saying I. It turned into something completely different. A week before I turned 32, my body started transforming. I have holographic orbs and serpents swirling around me now. It's an energy that I do not completely understand. It's a part of me and incomparable to anything I've ever seen. It changes color, it can move through solid objects, it reacts intelligently. This energy is inside and outside of me at the same time, and it never leaves me or stops existing. It sounds like what? It sounds like quantum mechanics, both outside of you and inside of you, as we are all one energy. This energy regenerates my mind and my body. It heals me and it can heal others. At one point during the transformation, there was an etheric injection in my arm, and I felt a spark jump into my body, and it shocked me. Now my eyes glow different, and I feel like I have more energy and a soul, and more of a soul than I did before too. There's a lot of energy work going on with my chakras while I lay in bed at night. This transformation has been going on for 10 months now. It will be a year around the end of December, and the race of aliens I'm in contact with is the dun-dun-dun reptilians. The reptilians sent me holographs to communicate. They showed me our history through the holographs. Instead, we evolved from Earth-based draconians. Earth-based draconians. Well, then, if they are from Draco, then they would be alien, and they would be on Earth, and thus Earth-based. And then there was some kind of war that's still being fought. From what I've gathered, I'm a reptilian-human hybrid. There's a hybridization program right here on Earth with Rh negative blood types, and other hybrids do exist. Unfortunately, most have been killed or haven't evolved enough mentally, physically, or spiritually, or want nothing to do with the reptilians out of fear of being brainwashed by organized religion. As of right now, there are only a handful of awakened, empowered hybrids. I'm going to stop the story right there because there's a couple points I want to make. One, he states that some of these hybrids don't want anything to do with the reptilians because they haven't evolved enough mentally, physically, and spiritually, or they want nothing to do with them. That's interesting because a lot of people state that the reptilians really haven't evolved with empathy or with spirituality at all. Yes, they've evolved with their mental and telekinetic and telepathic and tele-omnipresent capabilities, but they have not evolved spiritually or emotionally. They don't have empathy for people. They are what humans would call psychopaths. Working in the mental health field, psychopaths are incurable. You can't cure somebody that's a socio or a psychopath. Sociopaths, psychopaths are pretty similar in their mentality. The people that have no empathy for other people, whether they hurt them or not, or whether those people are hurt, they're people that are solely narcissistic, even though narcissistic personality disorder is totally different. These people can, typically have no empathy for humans, the human race at all either, right? So it's a mindset, but it's also something that they can't control, and they can't be fixed, unlike other mental health issues. So this makes sense. The other statement that this individual made was that they were in fear of being brainwashed by organized religion. Earlier, I was listening to Mr. Lear and Mr. Emery Smith. Lear, as you know, right, developed the Lear jet. He worked for the CIA on missions. He repeatedly has been in the UFO circles and talked about the UFO phenomenon. And Lear was talking about how Bob Lazar is one of his best friends, and he stated that Bob was given Q clearance, and at the time he got Q clearance, which was like back in the 80s, I want to say, could have been earlier, could have been 70s, was that once you get Q clearance, they tell you that there is no God, there is no Jesus, there is no Mary, there is no Joseph. I don't know. I have a tough time believing that because there's been so many stories where Jesus' name has been called out and it's had an effect on entities, demons, aliens, all the like. So whether or not it's the belief or whether or not it's the power of that entity, I don't know. But it's interesting that they don't want to be brainwashed by organized religion, because Lear states that the organized religion is just created by the aliens who put us here just to keep us in check. And Lear states that there's billions upon billions of planets like Earth that have been created by these creator races that create these entities like humans, and they use this organized religion to keep them in track, to keep them behaving appropriately, and to see how much they develop. It's interesting. I don't know how much of it's true, but it's really fascinating. Anyway, back to the article. Sorry for digressing there. So he says, so there it is. I'm in direct contact with reptilians. They exist, and we've formed a bond. They're really good to me. These must be the good reptilians, because I haven't heard a whole lot about any reptilians being good to anybody. They guide, protect, and upgrade me. Upgrading must be nice. I've heard about this from like other species where they've been upgraded, or they've had cancer taken out of them, or an illness, taken out. Random things, just random powers. Being able to see through your roof into the stars. Stuff like that. After being abducted, this stuff is real. He states that I wouldn't be alive without them. They've even saved my life multiple times. I trust them more than I do most humans. When the reptilians manifest on Earth, sometimes the females will come down to play, and they look like the Celtic, Nordic race. I can always tell when it's one of them because the women are always perfect with a glow to them and the stars in their eyes. Isn't that interesting? He's stating that the female of the reptilians are beautiful Nordic-looking women. Ingo Swann, who worked for the CIA and developed a lot of the remote viewing project, worked for SRI as well, Stanford Research Institute, stated that while he was working, he stated that he was in a grocery store and he was met by a Nordic-looking woman in a red dress in the grocery store who didn't seem like she belonged, and she was communicating with him telepathically and stating that this is what I'm showing you. They don't know about it. I'm showing you my true self, and showed it to him, and she was a reptilian, and he could see that once she shifted back, she was the woman in the red dress again, blonde, Nordic, everything, and nobody's looking at her like she's an alien. Everybody's looking at her like she's a human, a beautiful human. So you're going to get a little bit of a head turn, right? You're going to get a neck turn. Maybe if you're trying to blend in and hide in, maybe you dress up as just like your average everyday I shop at Walmart kind of lady. But I digress. Maybe they want the attention. Maybe they feed off the attention. Maybe they feed off the negative attention of people saying, "Oh my God, she's beautiful. I feel like shit." That would make sense, right? Go around looking real good and everybody being jealous of you, and they can feed off of that energy, even if it's just a little bit, just a little snack for them. I'm telling you guys, man, all this shit plays into each other. Okay, back to the article. It will only be for some time, a few days or months, and then after that they just disappear, never to be seen again. So basically, from what I've gathered, is we have a race of reptilian, Nordic, terrestrial, genetic, and technological alien masterminds right here with us on Earth. I stand by this firmly. I've spent almost 33 years of my life spinning in their web. And this stuff sounds like the writings of somebody who belongs, in need of some assistance. But I'll tell you, from all the research I've done, this could be totally legit. We also have the Lacerda files. The Lacerda files were a female reptilian that had come to an individual and wanted to get their story out, and saying that there are some good reptilian beings towards the center of the Earth, and there are negative reptilian beings as well. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Did you ever see the Last Starfighter? It came out in 84 or 86. That movie is fantastic, and in that movie there is a beneficial reptilian that works with the last human starfighter, and they're partners together. And he's hilarious and strong-willed to the gills, but it's nice to see every now and then there's a good reptilian out there. Uh, so, this is the story. What do you think? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's not? The truth is for you to decide. Do you think that they are really able to walk amongst us looking like beautiful Nordics? Sure. You can tell by people's eyes. Eyes are the way to the soul, right? So if you look in somebody's eyes and you think that they're not real, well, it's hard to hide eyes, right? It's kind of like AI's basic incompatibility or incapability to create a hand correctly. It cannot do hands. It always has too many or too few fingers, which seems ridiculous. You think it'd be able to figure out how many fingers it needs. Sometimes there's no fingers on the hand, and AI just can't create it. Do you think that there are people on the planet that look human but are alien, reptilian human hybrids, where they don't have the capability to implant a vision of themselves into you, but inside their body they have some sort of other DNA? It makes sense to me. I mean, if there's been hundreds of farmer races for genetics here, why wouldn't there be some DNA in us that doesn't make sense? Especially going back to, pre-Homo sapiens, and then us becoming, Homo sapiens sapiens, that kind of thing. So here we go. Here we are. That's the story, and that's what we got to deal with. I do want to talk about the idea that John Lear did put forth about there being billions of other planets that he's found through talking with whistleblowers for the government. How he's talked about that these farmer races do this on billions of other planets, and they just use us as containers. And that's exactly what Bob Lazar said too. He said they use us as the body's a container for the soul. The soul needs to develop like a fine wine. The soul has to go through all this shit and come out the other side, and hopefully you've learned a little bit something else. Once you come out the other side, you have your full 360 life review where you experience your life, as well as how you impacted other people's lives, and you experience it as you are them. So like if you hurt somebody else, you're going to feel it exactly as though you were that person, which would suck because I know I've done some stupid things. I know everybody else has too, but we all got to deal with it. And you just try to be as good as you can, and we are all on this journey to learn. Some people may believe that, some people may not, but a lot of the evidence points towards that being true. And then if you're good, if you did well enough, you don't have to come back. If you didn't do well enough, then you got to come back and learn some more lessons. I told myself while I was in the shower at 18 years old, I said, whatever I got to do, I don't want to come back here, man. I've already had enough at 18. I don't want no more. And I just, thoughts while you're in the shower, right? You're always thinking about things because it puts you into a meditative trance, being in the shower. So, but I know I haven't done enough. I know I didn't do enough, and I'm, past my prime, and I know I'm probably going to have to come back. That sucks. But you know what's great? Being a kid. With the exception of having to go to school and deal with bullies. But, man, if you're the biggest kid, good on you. Then you have to deal with bullies. Hopefully you can protect other kids. How many people will protect other kids when they're the biggest kid? That's the key, right? How many people will protect other kids when they're the smallest kid? That's another key. And this all revolves around us being more 51% of service to others than of self. And once we can achieve that as a whole society, then we can have that nice seat at the Intergalactic Space Station. Intergalactic Federation. Which, who knows? There might be a few aliens on the ISS as well. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. I'm going to roll out and try to do another podcast. So take care of yourselves physically, spiritually, emotionally. Follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Till next time, guys, take good care of yourselves. And as always, continue to question the universe around you. Peace, love, and light. Lockdown Universe out.